I caught the hospital volunteer stealing from patients' rooms. When I confronted her, I discovered she'd been visiting my dying sister for months as head nurse of the oncology ward. I've seen everything pair the miracles, the heartbreaks, the endless beeping of machines, but nothing prepared me for catching Marie, our most beloved 60-year-old volunteer, slipping a patient's watch into her pocket. Marie had been volunteering for 7 years, parent always punctual in her pink vest, bringing magazines, holding hands with terrified patients before surgeries. Patients requested her by name. Staff brought her homemade cookies. She was family that Tuesday morning. I was updating charts when I glanced through a doorway and saw her carefully remove a silver watch from a sleeping patient's nightstand. My stomach dropped as she slipped it into her pocket, looked around nervously and walked out. I followed her to the elevator, my hands shaking with disappointment. "Marie, I need to speak with you privately," I said, directing her to an empty consultation room. When I confronted her, I expected denial. Instead, tears filled her eyes. "I can explain," she whispered, opening her worn mother purse. Inside was a small notebook, listing patient names, items borrowed, and dates. Next to each entry was another date, printed always a few days later, parent with a check mark. "I don't understand," I said, confused by the methodical record-keeping of a thief. "It started with Sarah in room 418, Marie explained. "Terminal diagnosis, no family. She mentioned she'd never seen the ocean. I borrowed her necklace, took it to Pacific Beach, photographed it with the sunset, and brought it back with the photos. She said it was like a part of her had finally made it to the ocean." Marie pulled out her phone and showed me dozens of photos, parent a blue hair clip at the top of the Space Needle, a keychain at Respite, a ring at a Broadway show. "These patients can't leave, but their treasured items can," she explained. "I always bring everything back within 48 hours with photos." It started as a one-time thing, but the joy on their faces. I sat down overwhelmed, but why not ask permission? Most would say no. They don't want to impose, others have family who might not understand. I should have reported her immediately. Instead, I asked, "Why risk your reputation, your freedom?" "Because I've been visiting your sister Emily every Thursday for 4 months." My head snapped up. Emily Pernt, my 34-year-old sister battling stage 4 cancer while I worked just 3 floors above, too overwhelmed to face her deterioration during my shifts. "She talks about your childhood constantly," Marie continued gently. "Last week, she mentioned regretting never seeing the Northern Lights. Justity, I borrowed her grandmother's brooch." Marie showed me her flight confirmation to Alaska departing that night. I called security and had them return the watch to the sleeping patient. Then I took a week of emergency leave. Marie and I flew to Fairbanks together. 2 months later, Emily passed away. At her memorial, I displayed her grandmother's brooch alongside photos of it beneath the dancing green lights of Alaska. Sometimes rules exist for good reasons, other times they stand in the way of final wishes. Marie taught me that healing comes in forms no medical textbook could ever explain.